How we doing, guys? Just before we start, as a football program, our thoughts and prayers continue to be with, Devin Walker and the Tulane football team, as they go through what they're going through, and certainly we'll be more than willing to help in any way we can, and probably be remiss if I didn't do the same to the families of all the 9/11 responders. On the eve of 9/11, I certainly have policemen and firemen in New York City in my family, and I know in New York and New Jersey and in this area there's a lot of people whose lives were touched that day, and our thoughts and prayers are with them as well. It's good to be coming off another win against a good football team, and it's a short week. It's a little different doing this type of press conference after already having 2 practices to get ready for Thursday night, but that's kind of where we are. We moved on pretty quickly from the Howard game, and with that I'd open it up for some questions.
Has there been a common theme defensively, the way Rutgers has kind of contained B.J. Daniels? He hasn't had great numbers in 3 starts against them.
I think it's a great challenge every year. He's one of the more dynamic offensive players in our league, and we've certainly had some good defenses here in the past, but I think what you see this year from B.J. is an even better version of what he already was, which was a guy who played at a high level. So I think it'll be a great challenge for us this week. I don't know if there's if every week, obviously, we have a game plan for the offensive plays and the system that we're going to see. But I think you have to be ready to play good, sound defense every play, because he's got the ability to expose you on defense every time he has that ball in his hands.
Kyle, anything new that you can give on injury updates, the guys that had tests done, or how people did in practice today?
I guess the best way to say it is I'm optimistic about the team. I felt good about what he did today. I'm pessimistic about Andre. I'm not feeling great about that right now. And I think Savon is 50-50 at this point.
Coach, there were a couple missed connections on deep passes from Nova to Coleman in the last game. Do you have any concerns about Coleman and the deep passing game in general?
No, not really. Not really. I think, the further down the field you throw the ball, your completion percentage generally goes down. You hope to hit, if you throw the ball over 20 to 25 yards and you can complete more than half of them, you're probably doing pretty well. We were fortunate to complete a couple touchdowns to Brandon. I don't remember exactly what the distances were, but I really feel as he progresses through his career, he's still at the beginning stages of his career. I think he's only going to get better at running those deeper routes, and we're only going to get better at throwing it to him. And we certainly need to give him significant opportunities every game, because he's somebody who can affect the game in a big way.
Did you reach out to Greg at all after he won his debut yesterday, and did you hear from him when you won yours?
I got a great text message from him. We actually spoke prior to our first game. I got a great text message from him after the game, and then I reciprocated, and I sent him one after I'd heard that they had closed it out yesterday. But we have not talked. I'm sure they've moved on, and they have another big game coming up for them, and as do we. And hopefully maybe in pregame I'll get a chance to say hello to him.
Are you intending to? You're too busy, or are you, to watch this coming Sunday's game? I mean, he's going to be here in your backyard. So.
It would be hard. It would be hard for us to get to that one in season. We generally don't see very much NFL football until our season's over.
Yeah, and I know you've done this before, but if you don't mind, just it's hard to say overall what you learned from Greg. But you saw that he won yesterday. What do you think maybe people didn't know about the transition he might make into the NFL? Or
I felt like, from what I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but I heard a little bit about how the game went, and I think they blocked a punt, and I think they played really good rushing defense, and I certainly found that over the 7 years I worked with him, if you can play good defense, and by that it always starts with stopping the run, and you can make big plays on special teams, you're always going to have opportunities to win. Those have certainly been things that have helped us win, running the football on offense. I think they did a good job of it yesterday down there. It's certainly something that we have as one of our goals every week. We think is important. So there's a certain recipe for success, I guess, the Rutgers way of doing things. And generally it starts with running the ball on offense, stopping the run on defense, and then making plays in special teams to ultimately help you win the football game.
I know you're not going to give away any of your secrets, but you
don't think so?
But you just mentioned blocking punts. You guys blocked another one. You lead the nation over the last couple of years in block kicks. What reasons, or what can you tell us about the remarkable consistency you guys have with block kicks?
I think the fact that we're going to come after him is not a secret. I think people turn on our film and they see that. We're very aggressive about it. We're open about it. It's what we are. We're a block team. We're not a return team. We're going to try and block it every game. It's something we spend a lot of time on. And generally, if you spend a lot of time on something and you have good people coaching it like we do here with Coach Rossi and Coach Smith, you hope to get good results. And we've been fortunate to get good results. The players have done a great job embracing the coaching they've been given and then going out and executing it on game day.
From an injury standpoint, what's the latest with Marcus Thompson and then his backups or the other guys at that position? What do you feel about them going into USF if they have to play extended snaps?
Marcus was out there running around a little bit today, so that was encouraging. So I put him in the optimistic category, of how I feel about him for this Thursday night. They want to be out there now. I mean, this game, Thursday night football in college, is kind of the equivalent of Monday night football in the NFL. Everybody's watching. Your peers as players are watching. Your peers as coaches are watching. There's no doubt there's a little different kind of buzz. And then just add on top of that it's the first Big East football game we get to play this year. It's on the road. It's in a great venue against a really, really quality opponent, one of the better football teams in our league, one of the best playmakers in our league as their quarterback, certainly one of the difference makers in our league on defense with their starting nose guard. They've got some dynamic football players on their football team. It's a great challenge for us. And because of that, the guys on our team, they want to be out there. So you see guys doing everything they can possibly do to hopefully be healthy, come Thursday night. So I was encouraged by it. But as I've said before, I don't worry in any way, shape, or form about injuries other than setting up the depth, because injuries happen to every team around the country. And when they happen, the next person's got to be ready to step up. And when that person steps on the field, they are now the starter. And our expectations and our standards don't decrease at any point.
Kyle, the trend seems to be more early September conference games. You don't play again in the conference until October 6th after this. What are your thoughts about playing a conference game so early in the season? It used to be you'd set up your non-conference schedule, get into your conference schedule. How do you feel about it?
I think it's probably been affected by TV. The TV wants the conference games. They're maybe a little bit more juice to them, in terms of what people want to see on television. I don't worry so much about the schedule. I really don't. When it lines up, at whatever point in the season it comes up, we've had as much time as they've had to prepare. We are coming off a home game, going to a road game. They're coming off a road game, going to a home game. So you figure it all equals out. The only thing I would ever be concerned about, I wouldn't want to have the disadvantage of having to play the week before if our opponent didn't have to play the week before. I think that happened to us one time since I've been here. But I know the conferences do a pretty good job of trying to make sure that doesn't happen.
Kyle, what do they do defensively? I know you mentioned their nose guard and everything, but what else do they do defensively that can create problems?
The first thing they do is they put really good defensive linemen on the field. And maybe this is my background as an offensive line coach, but I know that when you play against teams that have high-quality defensive linemen, you better be ready to go. And they've certainly had their fair share over the years. And I think this group, when you look at them, number 46, phenomenal football player. He plays on the inside. He's their nose guard. 6'2", over 300 pounds, very active, very quick feet. Number 97, Ryan Giddens, a very dynamic pass rusher. Long, runs really well. And then guys like 92 and 99 who've played a lot of football for them and now have stepped into starting roles and really kept alive their tradition of having really good defensive linemen on their team. And then at the linebacker position, D.D. Lattimore and Sam Barrington, those guys have played a lot of football over the years. I said this before, I don't know if I've said it in this press conference yet, but to have to go against a defense where everybody on their starting lineup is a junior or a senior is a unique thing, and it presents a tremendous challenge for us offensively.
Cal, have you gotten to the bottom of the missed two PATs last week?
One of them was a snap issue where we couldn't quite get it down, and then the other one is just a miss. I'm not concerned about it. I think Kyle has shown me that he can keep every kick to a one kick at a time mentality. Every kick is an independent event. Don't let what happened in the past affect what's coming up next, and he'll be fine going forward.
I wanted to ask you specifically about Darius. It's funny you were just talking about defensive linemen, but what allowed him to be ready to play as a true freshman, and what kind of future? Just when you look at what's there, and he said he's not even done growing. What could still be out there for a kid like him? I
really believe he's at the beginning stages of what his growth potential will be. I think he's 245 pounds right now, 250 pounds. I think ultimately he'll be a 270 to 280 pound defensive lineman later in his career. But what he's been able to do is play with really good leverage, because he's playing against 22-year-old men, and he's 18 years old right now. So he's not as strong as he's going to be. He's not as big as he's going to be. But what he does is he plays with really good technique and really good pad level, so he's able to counteract that. And he's been a productive player for us so far.
And given not only where he played his high school ball, but what his bloodlines are, does that surprise you at all, or is that probably what you expected?
It does not surprise me. I try not to put too many expectations on the freshman, but he was somebody that we thought early on, we thought he would be able to play for us.
Coach, what are your overall thoughts on Miles Jackson up to this point?
I think Miles has done a nice job stepping in his role. With Marvin Booker being out right now, he's in that reserve role behind Khalil Glaude, and he's taking advantage of the snaps that he's been given. And again, I think as he gets more experience on the field, his upside will be very good.
Kyle, you've had a week now to kind of watch Sheldon Royster since he joined the program. What are your thoughts on him now that he's more involved?
I think it's too early to say. Our eyes really are on the players that are getting ready to play in the games right now. We're working Sheldon into our routines and our ways of practicing, and Sheldon's done a good job trying to assimilate into our team. But we're not examining him per se right now, because we have games to get ready for. Maybe on the bye week we'll get a little bit better look at him.
How much more is there in the running game? You've almost doubled last year's output. I know it's only 2 games, but how much more room is there for growth in your mind?
I think this week is going to tell us a lot. I really believe that. I think this is the most challenging of the 3 weeks so far. This defense is a proven commodity. I think this defense is much better than even their numbers would say they are. And I think this will be a tremendous challenge for our offensive unit, all 11 guys, to continue some of the success we've had running the football. I think after this game, I'll be able to answer that question a little bit better.
Kyle, how big do you view games like this in recruiting since you guys are still active in Florida?
Anytime you're on national TV, it's certainly an opportunity to show everybody, what your program is about. And certainly being on the road, it's a little bit different experience when you're at home, because you don't get the game day atmosphere to show your recruits, but you certainly get to show them, what your program is and what it's about. I would hope that any recruit that would be watching Thursday night would not make a decision on a school based on a single night's event. You would hope it would be more about the people and the relationships, and ultimately what that university, that diploma from that university can do for you going forward. But I do think, because it's on national TV, there's certainly going to be a lot of eyes on it, and it's going to be valuable.
Any other questions?
Thank you.